What's up, everyone? It's your boy Scott. Welcome to the Scott Report, and the summer anime season has officially kicked off today, and I am starting out with my first impression of To the Abandoned Sacred Beast, which didn't make the list of my 5 most anticipated anime that I'm going to be watching this season, but that doesn't mean that I'm going to be watching like 20 different things. In fact, I really don't have a plan of what I'm going to cover this summer, so I'm just going to take it on the fly and we'll just go from there. But trust me, there will still be an abundance of content for you guys to indulge on, because that's what I pride myself on here at the Scott Report. But anyway, To the Abandoned Sacred Beast is coming from Studio Mappa, a studio that I really enjoy close to everything that they bring out because of the tone and the nature of the type of things. It seems like they always get like kind of, you know, the not really controversial, but more of the grounded and more, you know, toned type of series, and we're seeing this again here with Abandoned Sacred Beast. So let's just get right into it. This is also based off of a manga, so it's not an anime original or anything, and the series itself is interesting because it takes place in a very interesting time. I mean, it's about this country called Patria, and there's 2 sides to this country that's been divided after some political mumbo jumbo about some new order that came along. So of course, whenever there's going to be wealth, that's going to bring war, and that's going to bring all types of things. And it looks like the 2 sides that we have here is first. This is pretty interesting because the first side is called the Northern Union of Patria, and the other side is called the Southern Confederation of Patria. Like, come on, that sounds a lot like a Civil War American history instead of a serial about some damn monster hunters. But we'll get to that. And I just noticed I said serial instead of series, but you know what? I'm not cutting it out. I'm actually going to keep that. But anyway, let's get back to the story here. The South was winning the war by almost a landslide in this battle until the North decided to come out with a technology that actually endows people with the abilities of, you know, monsters, basically. And when you're dealing with war and you're dealing with things like people being enhanced and people having powers and things like that, it's always the soldiers that end up struggling, especially when it comes to politics, because their whole game is to basically use these people till they can't use them no more and discard them like trash. And that's basically what happened here. It's like these group of individuals are called incarnates. Now these incarnates, again, they can turn to, you know, werewolves, they can turn to dragons, they can turn to snakes and all types of things. It's kind of like terraformers, if you saw that, how they just transform into whatever it is that they took the powers of. Of course, once the war was over though, the government decided to cast these guys aside and shun them out, but mainly it's because they can and will lose control of themselves, and that's what happens here. And of course, once something this big, something like somebody can turn to a dragon, decides to lose control of themselves, that's going to cause problems everywhere. So the government basically turned their backs on these guys. It's a little bit more to it, but I don't want to get too into spoilers because it is a first impression. But let's just say the government isn't too kind on these guys right now, and they decide to make a group of people called beast hunters. I mean, because who's better to track down some beasts than the beast himself? And that's when we enter our main character by the name of, is his name Harry or Henry? I can't remember right now. Hank, his name is Hank. This main character by the name of Hank, and he's tasked with actually going through and trying to find his old brethren, find these people that were incarnates who are now called beasts, and he has to hunt them down one by one in order to either try to bring them back into reality or to just take them out completely, because you don't need a whole bunch of people that can turn to dragons and bears and monsters and oh my, and all that type of stuff running around, right? One of the things that I like the most about this series that's pretty interesting, because the series, again, it takes place it looks like during the Civil War times, but there's no modern technology. You know, usually when they do these type of series, they always try to, especially when it deals with fantasy, it's like, as of late, you know, when they do fantasy, they always try to not really do magic, but try to take things like more technology and have them ahead, or they will use magic. But this one, it does seem pretty grounded. Like, besides having the monsters, they don't have anything futuristic, and the world starts to open up from there. So it is a nice mix of fantasy and realistic elements, and it can be very enduring. I know that's what I like about it the most. I'm interested in this world and how we came to be, because, you know, I like fantasy. Fantasy is also one of my favorite genres, so whenever one's gonna be there, I'm at least gonna watch it and see where it goes. And this series, it had a very interesting start, but they had a little bit of problems with it as well. And I can't necessarily say that it's a problem. It's just kind of like, I don't know where to place it. Again, this is coming from Mappa, and they have been knocking it out the park as of late. They just got this series fresh off of Dororo, and then they had Banana Fish before that. And like I was saying at the top of the video, they are very good with the type of series that are more grounded or more gritty or more grim. You know, the kind of series that can get really deep. They're really good at making this type of series, and this is what they have here. But this series, To the Abandoned Sacred Beast, was labeled as a shonen, and I don't know if that was mislabeled or not, because this doesn't feel like a shonen. Usually a shonen, like take Attack on Titan for example. Attack on Titan is labeled a shonen because Eren and the rest of the kids, you know, they're teenagers, but it's primarily about adults. But this one, we have all adults in it, but it's still labeled as a shonen. Man, maybe that's just the audience that they're trying to capture, but I don't know. It's just kind of weird. This was labeled as shonen. Maybe that's misinformation. You know, I did get my information from Live Chart. I didn't look up to the manga on this too much, but I can tell you one thing. It has gore in it. It doesn't have like straight up bloody dismembering gore, but it has blood. You know what? This shit ain't a shonen. That's basically what I'm trying to say. Now, there were some lighthearted moments, especially when they were going back and they were showing the whatever they're called, the incarnates. When they were showing the incarnates and, you know, just kind of building a camaraderie. But the animation was okay, and I'm not the type of person who comes on here and talks about the animation. I just like to mention it for anybody that's wondering, because, you know, the animation doesn't really bother me. As long as the story's good, I'll watch it. The animation was just okay, and just like I was saying, it's gory and it's deep and it's dark, but at the same time it feels really lighthearted. So I'm just in a weird spot of knowing exactly where to place this series, but the pacing was a little bit slow, and that's to be expected whenever you're dealing with a series that deals with war and politics and things like that. The problem is that this is only listed for 12 episodes, and we are in the anime seasonal watcher world where everything is 12 episodes, and that's usually not enough time to flesh out something that deals with war. Even though we're gonna have Beast and Beast fighting and the such, there's gonna be things in the backdrop I think that's gonna need to be expanded on, and it might just fall a little bit flat or come off a little bit boring. And then also, as anime watchers, we always want the best adaptation, and we always want as many episodes as possible. But when we have so much anime to watch at once, even 24 episodes sometimes can be a little bit of a drag, and anything over 24 episodes is going to be long. So it'll be interesting to see how this fares out. And again, I haven't really dived into the manga. That's something I said I want to get back into as a channel, as far as like reading manga and having more research on this for you guys to bring you, so I can say, you know, we can pace up with the manga here and there. But I don't know, as loaded as the summer season is going to be, I feel that overall, it was alright. This was an okay episode. I mean, most of it was just explaining, you know, the world and the setup and the setting, and we really don't get into the meat of what the series is going to be about until the very end. And I can see how someone will probably be bored with this series fairly quickly, and especially because we just seen a series like this last season in the spring with Fairy Gone, because there's a lot of similarities between that series and this, and I know people got tired of that really fast. But because this series seems a little bit more exciting, and again, I know myself, I put Fairy Gone on hold, so I don't know if it picked up or not, but I'm getting the same type of feels to that. And after a few episodes of Fairy Gone, I put it on the back burner and was like, you know what, I'm not really missing anything. I can probably watch it later. And as loaded as the summer season is right now, I don't think To the Abandoned Beast can afford to be that type of series. I mean, we have a lot of things that people are looking forward to, such as Dr. Stone, you know, Fire Force, Accelerators coming back from Magical Index. We have a lot of high octane type of series coming in the summer that's usually in the spring, and this one seems like it's going to be more of a slow burn, even though there's action into it, but I could be wrong. So I'm definitely going to give it 3 episodes to see where it goes. But again, I can see how somebody could probably not want to deal with this series. I mean, to be honest, it didn't make me say, oh my god, I cannot wait for episode 2, but I am interested in the world enough to actually watch it, as far as where Hank is gonna go in his revenge per se, or his crusade to stop the rest of these beasts out here, because he's a beast himself. And at the end of the episode, you know, we got a little bit of tease or something of the girl that's also, you know, on all of the main images with the rifle. So that's gonna be cool to see what her story is as well. But again, as a first episode, just going off that alone, it didn't really do too much to draw me to make me want to be excited to see the next episode. I do want to see it, but I think like it'll be the type of thing that I will probably watch. Like, it comes on Monday, I'll probably watch like Tuesday or Wednesday or something, depending on how busy things get. So rambling aside, that is my first impressions of To the Abandoned Sacred Beast. So let me know what you guys thought of the first episode in the comments below. Again, I want to watch it, but it might be on the back burner. That first episode just didn't wow me, and I know we have 12 episodes. You can never go off of the first episode alone, but you never get a second chance to make a first impression. So if you liked the video, go ahead and drop it a like, and if you want to hear more, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, as there's not shortage of content for you to indulge on this channel. As I always say, you guys can be anywhere on YouTube right now, but you chose to listen to me. I really appreciate that, so thanks for stopping by. On that note, it's your boy Scott signing out. See you soon.